Hello, my name is Jason. I also go by Cindercast. I'm currently staff on WBO and head of community for Southern California's West Coast Bladers. I play Beyblade because I find it to be a very enjoyable game. It's a game where you can go ahead and build combos, and it's really unorthodox compared to all the other games that you could play, like all the TCGs. I think it's fun to do when you can just pick it up, play it on a random Tuesday or Saturday with your friends. It wasn't too difficult for me because I was introduced to Beyblade at a very young age. My brother was watching the Metal Fight Beyblade anime and I would watch it with him. From there, we would watch a lot of other reviews and hobbies, like YouTubers like Zenki and other people who would create content on the products themselves. Later on, we would just continue. Beyblade would be in and out of my life. I would eventually get into Beyblade Burst as well when I got one of the Hadro Z Achilles parts. And then from there, I continued collecting Beyblades, playing with my friends, getting all my other friends into it, until I eventually found WBO and started playing competitively there. My first tournament it was pretty fun. It was rather standard for a tournament experience. There was nothing else too extravagant going on. I did meet one of my greatest friends from there, and I didn't do too well in the tournament. I think I got maybe fifth place, didn't make it into the final stage, so I kind of got bubbled out just a little bit. But the first experience of playing Beyblade was really fun. I did actually like meeting a lot of other people who were super into the game like me, seeing everyone's collections and seeing how much other people enjoyed the game just as much as I did. It was kind of like a childhood dream come true, seeing like, oh, well, all these people cherished this game that you've loved so dearly when you were a kid. I collect some Yu-Gi-Oh cards, but most of the things I do collect, including Beyblades, are mostly for utility. So when I play Beyblades, or when the Beyblades I have, the ones in my possession are usually the ones I would use in my deck. So like I have multiple copies of Phoenix Wing, but I don't think I have a single copy of like Nightmail or other blades that I typically wouldn't use to fit my playstyle because I enjoy playing the game just to play the game. I don't really find the collecting aspect too fun about it. But when it comes to other things like cards, I do think they're easier to pick up and like, hey, these are nice to look at. So I do like collecting some cards, but mostly for Beyblade, I like when the cards have utility for me. So it's things that I would be using. If someone says Beyblade is too expensive, I would guide them in saying, well, it's really budget friendly depending on how you want to play. I do feel like playing offensively is one of the easiest ways to get into Beyblade since you don't really have to optimize parts as much. Of course, you can always optimize stuff as much as you would like to, but you can always research and talk to other people who have been into the game for a while. It's like, hey, yeah, if I wanted to build a budget friendly deck, just like a lot of other games, like, oh yeah, if I wanted to build a budget friendly deck and actually do well, what would I do? And there's a lot of stuff like you can go to Target, you can go to any other place. You can even trade with other people, like if you have things of interest. So you could always manage to get your way, and always putting a lot of time and dedication into what you have, I think is a really good thing. So being a budget player myself, I feel like I've been able to apply my skill much more and have another deeper level of appreciation for the game because I don't have an arsenal of just many parts in my possession, but being able to just like understand the game to like a different degree and having a different perception of it because I don't have as much, I think is a good thing. So I feel like you can still do relatively well as a budget player, and I believe the game is still relatively accessible. Losing to me doesn't feel as bad because Beyblade to me is just the sort of game you play for fun. It's the sort of thing where you learn to be happy for other people because when I've lost to other people before, I see that others cheering for them and then they're happy for them, and it's taught me to be happy for others when they have their own wins. The same way that people are happy for me when I have my own wins. So this culture that has been around in the West Coast Bladers community is really inviting and really just uplifting as people, hey, well, I lost, I take my losses, all that stuff. It teaches you like crucial lessons that you probably wouldn't learn or you wouldn't expect to learn in, just a spinning top game. Like, hey, yeah, well, you can take your losses and you should be happy for other people who have their victories. I do think that's a very beautiful thing. My first I won moment wouldn't necessarily be tournament related, but it was a slowly and gradual thing as I started to realize when the community started growing more and more, where more people started to be together, and I started to realize that people were not just playing Beyblade together, but socializing, learning more about each other, and actually becoming friends outside of just like, hey, yeah, we spin tops together. There's a lot of things that have flourished because of this, and I feel like being able to be a part of that has been really great for me, and I do feel like that is one of my biggest victories when it comes to Beyblade, that people have been able to grow together and learn more about each other rather than just spinning tops, but becoming friends and like family. I would say that the community differs quite a bit because how I apply myself to my life is drastically different from how a lot of other people may apply themselves to their life. But I do think that because of these different things, we can come together and still enjoy the game of Beyblade. It's still drastically different because I'm not really taking positions of authority as much. Like I'm not really running tournaments or doing other administrative processes while I'm like outside of life. Because most of the time I'm just like, well, I'm going to be a student in college, so I'm going to be doing a lot of like studious things. I work at an ice cream shop. I'm not really taking charge of anything else there. And most of it is just kind of drastically different compared to when I'm actually at tournaments. And like I do have like some level of authority and responsibility. My mom knows that I play Beyblade, and she was very happy about it. I told her at least at one point that I was gonna lay back off of Beyblade for a minute, and she was pretty sad about that. But when I eventually got back into it, she was very happy for me, and I tell her a lot of the endeavors that I do when it comes to Beyblade, and she's seen how far I've come with it, and she's really proud of me for that. At work, I think a few people mentioned it because one of my friends told some others like, "Hey, yeah, he does Beyblade outside of this," but it was like a small thing that was mentioned. So not too many people know about it, but mostly like my mom, my aunt knows, and that's pretty much it. I don't own too many Beyblades for Beyblade X because my playstyle I believe is very optimized, and I do like to just own the parts that I use for utility, and I don't like owning too many Beyblades when it comes to at least X. But for the other formats like Metal, Fight, and Burst, I own quite a few parts, and there's a lot of customization I do for that. I do like being able to run a lot of different stuff for the legacy formats because the game is just like significantly different compared to X, where it's like, oh well, I feel comfortable only using one playstyle compared to the other formats like Burst or Metal Fight, where I'm like, hey, yeah, I can like improvise a little bit. I can like try new things out a little bit more. Like I feel like I can explore a little bit more while I'm playing the older formats compared to X. A lot of it was mostly just because I liked the game initially, but that eventually fades away to where, oh, well, I don't really find the game as competitive anymore. I kind of just like play for fun, not too concerned about how I do or how I don't do. And even when I started hosting tournaments, I kind of just wanted the organizer tag because I thought it'd be cool. I thought it'd be like, hey, yeah, like, I'm not like everyone else. I kind of have some level of like, oh, well, I'm cool now. I'm like a little purple name on my profile, right? But as I've grown and like the community has grown alongside with me, I've realized that it's not just like playing, at least when it comes to my role in this community. It's not just, hey, yeah, I show up and play Beyblade. It's, yeah, I foster a lot of what happens here and a lot of the social aspects of it, a lot of the people getting together, growing together. Like, there's a lot of times where people even go out to eat after this. They get to know each other more. There's times people are just like hanging out even outside of this. And even some others who probably wouldn't have as many friends outside of Beyblade, just because that's just how life is sometimes. As you grow older, people grow more distant from each other, and it's not as easy to find people because most of the time you're just, you know, at work. And if you want to find people, like maybe you're probably going to places where probably not the best, you might not connect with people as well. But then when you come to a place where you know that everyone likes the mutual thing and everyone's as invested into it as you, like no one else is really playing competitive Beyblade like that. It's not for the money, you don't get much out of it. It's mostly just for the fun. But it's something that flourishes inside of you. You understand like, hey, yeah, these people, they're very similar to me. They like this niche game, which can be really silly sometimes, like this really silly game. And as you get to know them, they grow closer to you and you grow closer to them. And it's really inspiring me to continue to foster what that is.